a stalemate until an armistice began in 1953. North and South Korea were split along the 38th parallel, a line that still divides the country today. Over the next decade, tensions escalated further and the conflict became truly global. Are you paying attention? Let's go. Stalin died and Truman lost power. In come Khrushchev and Eisenhower. The Warsaw Pact plans the Eastern Bloc with the Russian and Chinese bond as rocks. In 56, the Hungarian uprising is smashed by the Russians. The world's realizing that these superpowers crush those who oppose. As the CIA ruthlessly hunts in the shadows, the space race makes for a dazzling sideshow. As Khrushchev cranks up the pressure from Moscow in the Berlin crisis, you probably guessed they put up a wall to split East and West. And just before you begin to relax, an island off Florida has just unpacked a lethal arsenal of Soviet nukes. The world holds its breath, and I'm gonna puke.
My fellow Americans, as the Soviet move on to put a boatload of nukes on the island of Cuba, it would appear that Moscow has fed us lies, and I will not stand idly by. Now I know what you're thinking, last year wasn't great. Bay of Pigs was a big mistake, but after careful thought, the decision be made to stop Moscow ships with a naval blockade.
For 13 days, the world held its breath as Washington and Moscow communicated via unreliable back channels. Despite some close calls, Khrushchev agreed to remove the weapons if Kennedy removed his own missiles from Turkey. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, an ill-advised proxy war was growing out of control.
Well, good morning, Vietnam. Lit by furious fire napalm, scarred by a million brutal shells, a jungle paradise turned to hell. And is this battle really ours? Where's the just within this cause? America, elephant scared by a mouse drawing lines in the sand when the tide is out.
For 2 decades, the US fought a futile war against communist-backed North Vietnam until the US withdrawal. In 1972, President Nixon traveled to Beijing and Moscow, holding talks to limit the arms race during a period known as détente. However, in 1979, Cold War tensions were ratcheted up once more.
Sir, we just got word from Afghanistan, a communist coup.
Sounds like a Soviet plan.
Yes, sir. The Russians are sending advisors. Clearly, they're trying to undermine us.
So let's support the other side.
The Islamist fighters.
Yeah, that sounds fine. Encourage them to fight a holy war with the Soviet Union.
Well, if you're sure.
The Soviet Union sent thousands of troops to support the Communist Party in Afghanistan, but they failed to defeat local Mujahideen fighters backed by the USA. In 1987, Gorbachev and Reagan signed a treaty to limit nuclear weapons as the Soviet economy began to fail. And in 1989, the eyes of the world turned to Berlin.
We're sick of silence. We will not rest. Berlin has won, not East and West. But there's one thing of which I'm certain. It's time to end this iron curtain.
We must destroy this brutal vision, this ugly symbol of division. East and West, join the call. Hey, Gorbachev, take down this wall.
In 89, the wall came down, and Eastern Europe stood its ground with a sweeping wave of revolutions against their Soviet institutions. Finally, after 50 years of proxy wars and nuclear fears, the world began to heal the scars of countless battles near and far. And present day, fast forward the clock, we're still living with the aftershock. This global war for domination affected almost every nation. So don't assume this war was cold, that it didn't take a human toll. For the millions who died for their nation states, let us learn from their fate.